तुषाराद्रिसङ्काशगौरं कबीरं मनोभूतकोटि प्रभाश्रीशरीरं स्फुरन्मौलिकल्लोलिनी चारुगङ्गा लसत्फालबालेन्दुकण्ठे भुजङ्गा.
A warm welcome to all the devotees on Raksha Sutra English. We are going to narrate wonderful holy stories to all the devotees from the book Miracles of Love by Ramdas Ji, an exclusive devotee of Maharaj Ji. Please listen carefully, all the devotees. One of the first things he said to me in 1967 was, "You know Gandhi? I know of him, Maharaj Ji. You should be like him." Just by saying that, he started in me a train of righteous power fantasies that went on for years. Only recently have I come to see Gandhi in terms of compassion rather than power. Maharaj Ji's statement made me do much work on myself to add a bit more fuel to the fire of these attachments of mine. One day, Maharaj Ji asked, "Did you have tea at Nixon's house?" I was puzzled, for the question was without a context. But then I remembered that the Englishman who had settled in Almora many years before, who was known as Krishna Prem and was considered by many Indians to be a saint, had originally been named Nixon. I asked Maharaj Ji if it was this Nixon to whom he referred. "No, the one with the big white house in America, the one with the house bigger than Muktananda's." There was no mistaking it now. He meant the president. No, I never did. Then, thinking maybe there was a confusion of generations, I added helpfully, "But my father has. Weren't you in Mr. Nixon's house, and he gave you tea and was very nice to you?" "No." "Oh, nothing. More just another little suggestion that perhaps I was to play in the halls of worldly power." And another day he spoke again and about the presidency. This time he said, "You know, Lincoln was a very good president." Yes, he was a good president because he knew Christ was the real president. He was only acting president. Oh, yes, he was very good. He helped the poor and suffering. He never forgot Christ. Ah, then he asked, "Did you know Lincoln?" There was an embarrassed silence, for everyone present knew of that impossibility. Then Dada told Maharaj Ji that I couldn't have, since Lincoln died in 1865. It was explained as if to a child, but all of us knew that Maharaj Ji never said things idly. Ramdas, the head of the state police of Uttar Pradesh, the largest state in India, had come for darshan and was sitting at Maharaj Ji's feet and rubbing his legs with obvious devotion. I was called to join them, and Maharaj Ji introduced him to me and asked me whether the police in America were like the police in India. As I looked at this superintendent of state police rubbing Maharaj Ji's legs, I could only laugh at the comparison. I said that the police in America had great power and often forgot they were the servants of the people, and I added that it would be unlikely for the head of any state police to kneel and rub the feet of a holy man. Maharaj Ji then introduced me to the policeman, saying, "This is Ram Das. He is going to bring the police of America to God." I had to laugh. Now he was implying future powers even greater than my fantasies. It was also around this time that Maharaj Ji started calling me Samarth Guru Ram Das. In the past he had called me by one name or another, example Isa, Jesus or Kabir, each for a few weeks. Each time a new name appeared, albeit briefly, I would make inquiries as to the nature of the person who had become my namesake and would try it on for size. Jesus I already knew about. Kabir was a great saint, a very poor weaver who preached the unity of all religions and was legendary for his outspoken beliefs in God. His poetry was already much revered in my heart. At first, it seemed that Samarth Guru Ram Das must refer to the Sikh Guru Ram Das, but then I founded a book that described a Samarth Guru Ram Das who was Guru to King Shivaji in the 16th and had constructed many Hanuman temples. The name Samarth means all powerful, and there are many stories of his miraculous powers. He lived in a mud hut next to the king's palace. The king was highly regarded for his concern for his subjects and for his generous feeding of the poor. But apparently now and then his ego got the best of him. When this happened, the Guru would do things like splitting a rock in which there were many tiny bugs and asking the king who was feeding these bugs. This realization of the triviality of his own efforts would again humble the king. I liked this name, and while I wanted all the powers Maharaj Ji seemed to be alluding to, I knew that if he gave me those powers, I would indeed get lost in them. Now and then, however, Maharaj Ji would set me up for an experience that, by allowing me to help him, showed me that the true powers poured forth when one realized I can do nothing, God does everything. On one occasion, Maharaj Ji said to me, Haridas is in America. You keep him there for 5 years. I knew that Haridas had only a 3-month visa, and that to get a permanent visa, that is, to become a registered alien in the United States, is no easy matter. So I said to Maharaj Ji, I can't do that. I have no political powers in the United States. But Maharaj Ji would not hear my reply. He just repeated, You keep Haridas in America for 5 hours. I kept Bhagwan Das here for 7 years. The implications of this made me laugh. Here was Maharaj Ji, who had all kinds of powers, making this absurd comparison. My power within the United States government was absolutely zero. So again I protested, but he was equally adamant. So I said that would certainly work on it. A few days prior to that conversation, a Westerner from Los Angeles, whom I had never met before, came to Nainital to see me. I explained to him that my Guru was nearby and took him to see Maharaj Ji, who gave him the name Badrinath Das. The fellow was very taken with Maharaj Ji and genuinely appreciative that I had arranged the meeting on his last day in Nainital, which was the day after the Haridas conversation with Maharaj Ji. Badrinath Das thanked me again and asked me there was anything he could do for me in the States. I asked him, for instance, what, and he told me that he was a successful lawyer in Los Angeles. At the moment, I could not think of any friends who were in trouble, but I thanked him for the offer. Then, as an afterthought, I said, I have a family full of lawyers, but the only legal thing I need now is to get Haridas Baba a long-term visa in America, and I explained to him Maharaj Ji's orders. Badrinath Das said, Gee, it's funny you should need that. My brother-in-law happens to be the director of the Western United States Office of Immigration, and we should be able to arrange it with one letter. And so it was done. When Hari Das came to the immigration department for an interview, his folder had special VIP stickers on it, and his alien visa was granted with no difficulty. Obviously, Maharaj Ji had known how it all would happen, but instead of bringing it out with Badrinath Das himself, he let me help him. But while with one hand Maharaj Ji played with my desires for worldly power, with the order he subtly uprooted them. One day while I was sitting with Maharaj Ji and KK, many CID, Indian Intelligence Agency, men came to have Maharaj Ji's darshan. They were in attendance upon Indira Gandhi, who was visiting nearby. After they left, Maharaj Ji said, What good is all that? A king can only order his men to obey, but a saint can order wild beasts and animals to obey, and they would do so also. Between this belittlement of a worldly king, Samarth Guru Ram Das stories, and Lincoln's appreciation of who the real president was, Maharaj Ji impressed upon me the very real limits of the worldly power that most humans seek. These teachings have continued to work upon me since that time. Ram Das. Among the thousands of seekers who came to Maharaj Ji's feet were many men and women of worldly power, either political or economic. Even though Maharaj Ji made light of worldly power, sometimes Maharaj Ji avoided them, and at other times he seemed to go out of his way to help or guide them. Maharaj Ji was staying at the home of the superintendent of the Agra Central Jail when he unexpectedly got up and left for another place. He told them that a wealthy importer was coming to bother him. A few minutes after Maharaj Ji had left, a limousine drove up, and a large man approached the house laden with prasad. God does everything section is long, so further stories of this section will be narrated to all devotees in next episode. To listen the wonderful holy stories of Maharaj Ji, please like, share, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell icon. Write in the comment box, Jai Neem Karoli Babaji Maharaj.